The city was quiet, blanketed in a heavy, sultry heat that clung to the skin even past midnight. My apartment felt like it was holding its breath. Every window cracked open, but no breeze dared to slip in. I stood barefoot on the balcony in a loose tank top and cotton shorts, ice water in hand, watching the stillness. The world below looked soft, almost innocent in the glow of the street lamps, but there was something electric in the air. Something waiting. And then I saw him, the watchman. He sat near the building's gate, half in shadow, half lit by the dull yellow bulb above the booth. A cigarette burned lazily between his fingers, casting a small red glow as he brought it to his lips. His posture was relaxed, but his gaze? That was different. He looked up at me, not in the way men usually look. Not the casual glance or polite curiosity. His stare held weight, heat, hunger. I didn't look away. The seconds dragged out between us, and something unspoken passed in the quiet. A silent dare, a question I wasn't ready to ask out loud. My pulse was unsteady as I turned back inside, but the damage was already done. My body buzzed with the possibility of something I hadn't allowed myself to even fantasize until now. Still barefoot, I wandered into my bedroom, tossing the tank top aside and pulling on a thin robe that barely covered anything. It hung loose, the knot at my waist lazily tied, the silk brushing against my thighs with every step. I told myself I just needed air. A walk. But I didn't head toward the elevator. I walked down the stairs, slowly, deliberately, toward the gate where he waited. When I stepped out into the courtyard, he was still there. This time, he stood. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked, voice low and edged with something dangerous. "Too hot," I said, and I wasn't just talking about the weather. His eyes dipped to the part of my robe where the silk had slipped, revealing the curve of my leg. He didn't pretend not to look. "Yeah," he said. "It's a heavy night." Neither of us moved. The air between us crackled. I took a single step closer, testing the distance, my body humming with nervous energy. He didn't flinch. Instead, he let the cigarette drop and crushed it under his boot, eyes locked on me the entire time. "I don't usually come down here," I murmured, feeling heat rise in my throat. "I don't usually get visitors," he replied, taking a slow step toward me. And then it happened. He grabbed me, not rough, but with a suddenness that stole my breath. One arm around my waist, the other sliding up my spine, pulling me tight against his chest. My back hit the cool concrete wall behind the booth. His mouth crashed into mine. There was nothing gentle about it. His kiss was fierce, consuming, and wild with need. I gasped against him, my fingers tangling in his shirt, clutching as though my body already knew it wouldn't be enough. The robe slipped open as he pressed his body to mine, and he groaned into my mouth when his hands met bare skin. One hand roamed up under my thigh, hitching my leg around his hip as he kissed me harder, deeper. I didn't stop him. I didn't want to. "God, you're trouble," he growled, his breath hot against my neck. I didn't answer. I just let him take. He spun me around, bending me gently over the small ledge behind the booth, his hand snaking between my legs. My head dropped back against his shoulder as his fingers found me already slick, already aching. He didn't wait long. With one quick movement, he slid inside me, thick and hot, and so deep it stole the air from my lungs. I let out a choked moan, biting my lip to stay quiet, but he only drove deeper, one hand gripping my waist while the other held me against him like I might float away. It was wild, desperate. The way his hips snapped into mine, the way I arched for more, both of us teetering on the edge of being caught, but too far gone to care. The danger made it hotter. His breath in my ear, the sounds of our bodies slapping together, the way I dug my nails into the wall to stay upright. I had never been taken like this. And I didn't want it to stop. I came hard, shuddering under him, my mouth open in a silent cry. He followed seconds later, growling low as he buried himself deep one final time, holding still as we both trembled. The silence after was deafening. He stepped back, and I turned to face him. His eyes were darker now, his chest rising and falling with each breath. I smoothed my robe over my body, legs still shaking. "I'll be watching," he said, voice husky. I smirked, brushing past him with one last glance over my shoulder. "I know." The next day, tried to pretend nothing had happened. I went about my morning like usual, drank my coffee, answered some emails, took a long, hot shower that did nothing to erase the memory of his mouth on my skin. My thighs ached deliciously. My mind kept replaying the moment his hands had grabbed me, the way his body had felt inside mine, the way I had lost myself completely. But when I left the apartment later that afternoon, he was gone. A different watchman, older, gruff, uninterested, sat at the gate. I felt a flash of something unexpected. Disappointment? Longing? I told myself it was better this way. But when the sky turned dark again and the familiar heat crept back in, my thoughts drifted back to him. I lay in bed that night in a silk slip, the door to the balcony cracked open, candlelight flickering against the walls. I didn't call. I didn't text. I just waited. And sometime after midnight, I heard it. A soft knock. Not on the front door, on the balcony glass. I slipped from bed and padded over. And there he was. He stood on my balcony, 3 stories up, like he'd climbed the railing just to get to me. His shirt clung to his chest, beads of sweat at his temple. His eyes locked onto mine with a fire that hadn't dimmed. I opened the door without a word and stepped aside. He walked in silently and closed the door behind him. Then he turned and reached for me, this time slower, more intentional. His hands cupped my face, his lips brushing against mine with surprising tenderness. A new kind of heat curled between us, less feral, more intimate. My breath caught. "You shouldn't leave your door open," he murmured. "Maybe I was hoping someone would break in," I whispered, fingers sliding up his chest. He kissed me deeply, pulling me against him. This time we didn't rush. We took our time. He undressed me inch by inch, letting his hands learn every new part of me, taking in the sounds I made, the way I arched, the way I sighed. We fell into the sheets like we'd done this 100 times before, like our bodies remembered even if our minds pretended not to. He moved inside me slow and deep, one hand cradling my jaw, the other gripping my hip. I gasped his name, wrapped my legs around him, pulled him deeper. It wasn't just about lust this time. It was something more, something that left us both vulnerable, shaking, wrecked. After, we lay tangled in the sheets, his hand tracing circles on my thigh. "I thought about you all day," he said, voice quiet. I smiled in the dark, my body still humming from his touch. "You're not just watching anymore.